All right. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I hope everybody had a phenomenal holiday um, weekend. So, really happy to be back, of course, with Bits of Wealth. And we will be doing our live trading session as usual. I just want to make sure that a quick housekeeping item actually, that anything that we discuss here today, it's not financial advice. um, we are just sharing what we are looking at in the markets, what we are trading. So please do your own research. Everything that we share here is purely for educational purposes only and for entertainment. We are just drawing some lines and we are analyzing the markets. So super excited to get everything going. Bits, how was your holiday weekend?
Good. Felt long. Um, it's one of those where if you're like a person who values your routine or your habits, sometimes it gets a little like it can exhaust you a little bit. It can you can feel like you almost need a vacation from the vacation. You got to take
Yeah.
some time to get back. So yeah, it's kind of felt a little bit like that. But today definitely feeling a lot better. But the last few days it was just like, oh man, I was just tired. When you're entertaining family and you're cooking every day and it takes a lot out of you. It really does.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's like during the holidays I took off pretty much for the most part. I had some
Yeah.
meetings over the holiday week, but um we had like from the trading I really was like, okay, you know what, just take some time here.
Yes.
And it's great, just basically being back after the holidays, and markets were a little bit choppy, right, within the
Yep.
range,
Yep.
as we anticipated was going to be the case over the weekend. And so here we are, excited to get this kicked off. So Bits, we had a pretty intense overnight price action. We had a really awesome move during the Asian session, right? Bitcoin was
Um,
going up to about 90K. And then, of course, Europe brought us back down. And now we are in the US session. What are you thinking of right now? What's going to be the next move here? What are you looking at?
Yeah, I mean, I think you nailed it where you said that we're still within this bigger range. So not a lot has changed there. Like this is still, I would say this is like the larger range here, like you're still just kind of chopping here. Um, but even inside of this, we've got kind of like this smaller range that's formed here. So I mean, I think there was two plays that could have happened. Either we were going to get a move, up that was going to break this range to the upside. This one came close. That didn't quite take out that prior swing there. It went above this, but didn't take out this high here. Didn't take out that wick. Um, and it didn't move into this FVG area over here either from like a few weeks ago. So left a little bit to the upside. Probably took most of the liquidity that was here. Came and kind of filled that wick, but definitely still has this imbalance here. Um, and then to the downside, like you've just been building this floor here to the downside, right? So you've got a big floor to the downside, a lot of support that's happened here over the last week. So there was really only two scenarios I was looking for was either, a big push up and then direction would be lower or a move lower that then ultimately sends it higher. Um, Part of that, what's funny is I had shared this one out, right? I had shared this out last week. I can't remember exactly when. It was probably like mid last week. I said, "Look, I think they'll go above here. Then I think they'll take these lows, and then I think we go higher." I mean, so far that's playing out pretty much how I suspected it would. So we'll see. I mean, I think the next place I would be willing to play is if we came and we took these lows right under all of this. So basically, previous week low, because that's the range we're looking at here. So that's your previous week low here. You can see it here marked in orange. So I think it makes sense here at this point. It's like even if this chops around a little bit more here in the next few hours, at some point I'd be interested in a move below previous week low. See if we can get a nice green candle that reclaims back up into the range, and then I'd be interested in seeing if we can't come back up to this FEG and maybe even up here to where some of these wicks were. So, and then that would potentially give us our move to back above yearly open. You know, our yearly open is here, like right around 93.5. So if we did something like that, you know, whether it's tonight during Asia or UK, we come down, take prior week low, and then start working our way back up and try and get above this by by the end of the year. So that's I think that's my primary case that I'm looking for right now. Could it, could it come down a little bit deeper and maybe play down here? It does, but then it starts to create more room between that 93, that 93.5 yearly open and wherever price goes. So, I think initially, like I'm interested here, and I'll watch for um, some, something to happen here that lets me know, okay, I need a position for the long. And if not, if this looks kind of weak and I'm not convinced, then there is this level below. And of course, you do have previous month low down here as well, so we could come down here and take that low as well. So could still be the case. I'd say if I had to rank them in terms of like likelihood, that for me this is most likely, and it gets more unlikely that we go into the deeper levels personally. So that's my current view of it. But happy to pivot if something goes different from that. But that's kind of what I'm eyeing.
Perfect. Yesterday during Asian session, I was watching the chart and hourly. I did take a quick little, really a scalp long on
Hmm.
Solana, and I was able to catch the breakout a little bit there, and it was just basically for fun, not like a long-term hold or anything. But it was a fun little trade that I did take yesterday. But this breakout on hourly chart, it looked phenomenal. Like the
Yeah,
volume that was coming in was pretty awesome. Even right now, like whatever chart it is it 4 hour? I
yep,
see at least the green volume, right? It's looking
yeah,
pretty nice.
yeah, yeah. It doesn't look bad, and if this current candle here closes kind of relatively up here or even starts pushing up, the liquidity draw is back up here, potentially back up there. So this could just BART back up. Definitely is a possibility. But yeah, like this liquidity here to me is just screaming for something to come down and grab it right here. It's too perfect. It's just too
Hmm.
perfect. I think all that holiday liquidity needs to get taken, and then we can see that. So, on the lower time frames, I think you probably could play something up. I think if you zoomed in, let's go like a 15. There probably is opportunity for a scalp there if it's not already started. No, look, you had it here, but then it faked. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm just this to me still looks relatively weak. I mean, I'm not seeing enough here, even though we did get some interesting like candle structure here, but it's not. RSI, the momentum there still looks weak, and not seeing really any big green bars on the lower time frames. So even though the 4 hour does show that we've got some volume coming in here, it's green, red, green. It's just super choppy. So I would want to see something on the lower time frames as well. But yeah,
Amazing, amazing. Oh, this is great. So you're not in any trade right now currently?
no, no. The only thing I was playing is some of these alts, like Zcash. I'm building a short position on Zcash up here, in this little zone here. So I was kind of waiting for a move
Hmm.
back up here. So I'm building a short there. I've got a really wide stop at the moment. It's back above some of this structure. Once we see some lower time frame confirmation, I'll tighten that up and I'll size into it. But no, that's been pretty much it. Played Monad a little bit as well. So this one was able to catch this short here.
Hmm.
So played that down a little bit, TP'd, um, and I'm watching whiff for potential long here if it sets up. But whiff, if you zoom it out, it still has some downside. It can come down here and fill. I'd prefer it came down actually. I think if
Hmm.
if whiff made a nice little move down here, I'd be willing to play. But no, right now I'm pretty flat. Soul, same thing. Like I'm kind of watching Soul. I,
Hmm.
I I still would like Solana to take these lows. Take the prior week lows, take maybe even this from the week before that. I think, and see if maybe it shows a little bit of strength. Um, but no, just really been playing these alts. Had XPL exposure. I think we talked about this one like on the last stream that we did, maybe. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I got a XPL long off of this way down here, and that one played out really nicely. Just massive move to the upside. I mean, it's like 40-50%, but still, you had leverage on it. So, but yeah, from down here all the way up, I mean, that's just a really nice move. Very healthy, just kind of continuing to grind up. So was able to play that.
No, that's yeah. I think XPL was called out live on one of our streams. Also, that horse token that you shared, that was flying over the holidays when I checked. I don't know what it's doing today, but that was a pretty significant move on it as well.
Yeah, the horse one's an interesting one
Mm-hmm.
because what I want to do is, we caught the bottom on it basically, and then sold, sold the move up. I think we ended up selling like at like 6 to 7 million or so. So probably about 6.5 was like my average. Um, but and here I can probably pull it up here. I think it should be on here yeah. So we can pull it up here. I mean, it's not the full chart and it doesn't have everything, but we caught this move, down and then back up. But right now, what I would like to see is actually a move back down here. And I think when you're looking at market cap, a move back down in here puts it back in kind of like that 7 to 8 mil market
Mm-hmm.
cap. So if this were to come down, like if off of these highs it were to come back down here, I'd probably be interested in playing a bounce on the horse token. So I'm kind of watching it. I think a move under like 8 mil is where I'll start paying attention. But it just has clean
Mm-hmm.
structure here. It actually might have been a little lower. It might have been like that, actually, I believe. So,
Mm-hmm.
and it did, when it moved, it was a very vertical move up. So yeah, we'll see if what is it? FKH gives us a pullback sometime this week, and then maybe there'll be a opportunity to position long. There's a lot. It's
Mm-hmm.
so funny, right? Because that's like we caught this move here, like to here, right? We caught the move down and then the pump up. A lot of people are aping into this entire move here, right? Like they're seeing this and they're
Mm-hmm.
aping there. It's like, to me, I'd much rather wait for this move down that flips this structure into support,
Mm-hmm.
and you miss out on this initial gain. But if with these, you're not really trading them with leverage, you're holding them, right? They're memes, they're the spot holds. So what is the point of like buying any of this versus waiting for this move down and then buying here now on the confirmation, and now you're going to go significantly higher, and potentially the only thing I missed was like whatever's going to be between where I sold and where I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to buy the next time. Like this little tiny bit here is all you really miss out on, right? There's this
Yeah.
idea that like you lose money if you miss part of the move. You don't lose money. You lose part of the move, right? You lose some opportunity. But if I make money from here to here and then I take it out and then I put it back in up here, even if I miss this little chunk here, my money goes back in here at zero loss, and then I take it out wherever the next level is. I still grew, my bag. So
Yeah, no, that's definitely great. I was watching that move and I'm like, oh, this is awesome.
mm,
The way that's playing out and everything. So really enjoyed that. But yeah, I think most of us caught it right on the
yep.
first time it was shared on the live stream, and so that was pretty phenomenal. Uh, but yeah, these are good. I'm gonna share my screen really
Okay.
quickly, and basically go over some of the stuff that I'm watching.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Um, okay. It is gonna be okay. Here we go. Where did it go? Okay, here we are. So this is going to be the window that I'm sharing here. I'm gonna now bring up. Okay, perfect. Here we go. Uh, I'm gonna make sure it's showing up correctly. Okay, on the screen. Perfect. So definitely on the higher time frame, right? I'm looking at some of these levels here, looking for a short-term bounce here, looking for a short-term bounce here. These are moving averages, so they're gonna move, of course, right? And we're gonna adjust accordingly. But basically, looking for a short-term bounce here. Of course, right now we are at a pretty key level as well, right? So if we are anticipating that we're going to close above the yearly open, which is going to be the likely scenario, price has to go up pretty significantly over the next couple of days, right? And so, and the reason why we are saying that is because usually the year after halving really so far has always closed green. So this would be the first time that it is going to close red if we do not get above there. I will, however, say one thing though. Prior to this cycle, I haven't really paid attention to the yearly chart. I know that we like to say, the three green dots and one red dot has been the cycle. For me, the 4-year cycle has to do so much with the Bitcoin halving that happens every 4 years. The year after the halving is when you create a top, right? It has a significant move to the upside. Bitcoin creates a top. And then the year after that, it's the barrier, basically. And that has been super clear to me prior to this cycle. So prior to this cycle, I didn't really pay attention to the yearly chart. That I don't go that far, right? Because when you're trading, what are you looking at? Essentially, you're looking at monthly, you're looking at weekly and daily, right? To kind of form your bias. You're looking at 4-hour and hourly and M15 for entries, even M5 sometimes, right? But you're not really necessarily looking at a yearly chart that's like way up high. Even quarterly, right? I did not look at it as much during the last cycle. Little bit here and there, not much, right? This cycle, I was paying a lot more attention to the yearly chart. So when I was like, those of you who have been with me since the last cycle, you guys knew when I was talking about Bitcoin creating a top last cycle in November of 2021, I was not talking about the year closing green at all. That was not a topic of discussion because it didn't matter. I wasn't even looking at the yearly chart back then. So this is something that I've been paying more attention to this cycle. And so we'll see if the yearly open does get breached again and we close above it. If not, I mean, what does that tell us? Does it mean good news? I mean, it's going to give us a pretty ugly looking chart though, right? And so it just further confirms the bias, which is to the downside, because that's not a pretty pattern at all, especially on a yearly chart. Very, very awful pattern. So that's basically what a lot of people are using to say, hey, if we don't close above yearly open, the 4-year cycle has ended. And it's like, no, I can tell you though, when the 4-year cycle does end, if we create a new all-time high next year, completely like, breach the current all-time high, create a completely new all-time high and stay above it, then yeah, then we have completely ruined the 4-year cycle, right? Now, if we retest it even, that's okay, right? But if we close like new all-time high, close above it on a higher time frame, let's say monthly chart closes above this year's all-time high, then yeah, then I'll be the first one to say 4-year cycle as we know it has ended, right? So that means we would have to go back to the drawing board, figure out how we are going to play the cycles next time. But that has not happened yet. So I'm working under the assumption that 4-year cycles are still intact very much, right? And they've showed us so far as well with the top that we have seen created recently. So we already know that, right? October was the top. This top tells me pretty similar price action to this that we have topped. And so, of course, look in to see how the yearly closes. But again, it does not change my opinion. I do not turn bullish just because I don't see a yearly open. If anything, it's even more scary. Trust me. Like, how low are we going to go? We already had a significant event on a low liquidity pair, actually, Bitcoin and USD1 pair on Binance hit 24K over the holiday week. So that was pretty convenient, right? Low liquidity pair, low liquidity hours. So that was pretty amazing to kind of watch and see how it plays out. But these are the levels really for a short-term bounce. I would expect it to be here, in 70s, right? And then another short-term bounce here at this major moving average that we have around 63 to 64K, even could come down here. One thing about the bear market is that a lot of times, if you don't see the liquidity grab at the low, that pretty much tells you that price is coming back down. So that's going to be pretty much the case. And then, of course, this is where I will expect the bottom to be somewhere around here, really. It's a pretty awesome range. I do follow timing over price, right? Because remember, when we were here, um, let's say even here in September, right? Going into August or June, July, August, right? I was thinking we are probably going to go hit 150K. Like, trust me, that was the price prediction that, okay, we were probably going to touch that 150K level. Um, because it's a pretty significant level, right? 125 is also very significant. So it was like, yeah, it's like probably going to go to 150. But guess what? The timing told me get the heck out. And I did. And you guys know that because that was a pretty public exit, right? And so when the timing tells me to get out, I get out. I don't care if it's at 126 or 130 or 140. I'm not going to sit around and say, well, no, it's going to go up because I don't know. The timing tells me get the heck out and I follow the timing. So it's going to be the same way. I'm going to be looking at October next year, right? Pretty much the entire month of October to see what the price action is and continue to DCA. Anywhere here is to me a nice little buy area. That's what I'm looking at. But I'm not going to pay too much attention to the price, to be honest. I'll be looking at the timing, at the pattern that it's forming. If I start to see like a monthly nice little pattern forming, I'd be like, all right, time to get in, you know? And so that's basically how I'm going to play it. It's a pretty significant range here. Price can go anywhere between here to there, and anything really under it is just going to be a bonus if we get there. If not, this is exactly where I'm anticipating price to enter. Now, what if we are here at 45K or 50K even, right? And it's already October, and end of October. Of course, I'm not going to wait and say, hey, I'm going to wait until this happens. Once I see a good bullish momentum, bullish pattern, I'm in. I don't care if it's here, right? This is, of course, where I would love to see. And one thing that I will tell you, when it comes to finding a bottom on Bitcoin or really any altcoins also, if you're playing the 4-year cycle, is that it will pleasantly surprise you. It is going to pleasantly surprise you if you're patient enough. It always does. It has surprised me. Like, I've always found a better entry than what I wanted. Whether it's Solana, whether it's Ethereum, whether it's Bitcoin, you're always going to find good entries by being patient. At least that's been my experience. So that's what I'm looking at. And this indicator, by the way, that I'm using, I'm gonna share it in Alpha Seedlings, which is my private Telegram community. If you want to join us, send me or Bits a DM, and we'll get you added there. I see Jilly joining. Hey, Jilly. Diamond. Hey, nice to see you guys here. But yeah, please, if you can like and retweet the stream and also leave a comment, that's super helpful. We want to get as many people up here as we can. So that's really what I'm watching, and this indicator is absolutely phenomenal. The way that I do look at it is something that I've seen Bits of Wealth doing very successfully, is basically a what would he say? Basically green momentum, right? So if you're looking at green momentum candle, especially if it's like after a red candle or a red candle and then followed by a green candle and then a red candle, then there are basically a pretty phenomenal reversal patterns that form here. But also sometimes you will actually be able to catch um, tops or the bottoms on higher time frame using this indicator as well. So I really love it. I remember, what was it, the last bottom that was created here? Was it? Yeah, this one. Um, and so this was basically, it was a pretty clear and a beautiful pattern where you had the red candle, red momentum candles, followed by a green candle. So you have the green volume and also a green candle here. And then it basically kind of created a bottom for you, and then price had a significant move to the upside. And then of course you would see something similar on some of the higher time frames as well. So this is basically like this one here was a pretty clear cut green on 12-hour, and so price made a significant move off of this candle. So I really love using this. On FOMC, I usually don't trade FOMC at all. And I like to stay out of the market, but FOMC actually gave me 2 trades because of this the pattern that it created. It gave me a short opportunity, and it also gave me a long opportunity. So that was actually a pretty significant trade. I'm gonna have to go find it, what day it was. But there are some really awesome plays based off of that. So volume plus the candle color give you really awesome information. And then of course, off of that, you will have other areas that you could look at, like high of the day, low of the day, and then initial high of the day, initial low of the day, and then also some other levels like yearly open, daily open, monthly, all of those. So it actually makes it super easy for you to trade. And then it also, of course, tells you what the EMAs do. But really, really phenomenal indicator. I'm really loving it. The more I use it, the more I love it. And I'm gonna leave a link down in the comments if anyone is interested in trying this out. You could definitely try it and see if it's something that you like. I absolutely love it. As far as some of the other plays, I did call out Kokoro. I'm not affiliated with their team, by the way, in any way, shape, or form. But I was basically talking about it when we were here, and at the lows actually on the daily. And so I did buy a little bit of this one because I do feel like it could create a bottom here. Let me see if I could refresh it. And it's above the price that I was actually accumulating at, and also I did share it in my community as well. And so we are moving up nicely on this one. So maybe we could catch a nice move to the upside. This is the first black SHIB. For some reason, my chart is not working here. I don't know why, but it's basically it was a nice play. Worked out nicely. And then the other one that I'm watching is Tears. My God, I don't know what's happening with Dextrose today. Let's see if we can get to that. Okay, here we go. This one, a political token. So it doesn't matter what political spectrum you follow. I'm just looking at it purely from a trader's perspective. Man, I don't know why my chart is not showing up here for some reason. But this is something. Oh, here we go. Okay. I have to be on price for some reason. So this is something I know that they are about to do another liquidity pair pretty soon, which is why the prices come down quite a bit. So this is one that I'm accumulating. It could probably it could come down lower, right? Could go as low as 200K. I don't know where it's going to end up, where it's going to bottom out. But I do know that they have landed a pretty phenomenal market maker team, and they're also starting to create another liquidity pair very soon, which is going to be with USD1. So this does have some potential. So I'm watching this for the midterms next year. This could be a play. Again, not financial advice, just something that I'm doing. The other ones that I'm watching, Alpha Meta, which we did call the bottom on this one around 3.8. If you did catch that one, it was pretty significant as well. This project I really like because they are going to be tokenizing NASDAQ listed companies. And so those companies, it doesn't really matter whether you're in a bull market or a bear market, those companies are going to be tokenized, and they're going to hopefully perform really well because those are like, multi-billion-dollar companies. And so their first project, I already know which one it is. And when I found out, I was pretty excited. It's a pretty major company that's publicly traded. And so I'll be definitely, bullish on, I'll be bullish on this for next year, even though we are going into the bear market. This is one of the plays that I'm bullish on. And I brought it up quite a few times. The other one that I'm bullish on is Angel, ANGL, which it's really backed by Pawan Agarwal, who is the CEO of Sunwest Mortgage. Phenomenal human being. And so this one is another one that I'm watching. They're going to be launching other tokens that are going to be paired with Angel. So it's almost like a virtual type setup here. And so this, I believe, is going to do well during the bear market as well. So I'm holding this one through and through. I'm not selling it. I'm absolutely not selling it. I'm going to be holding it through the bear market and also after that, because I think this is one of those tokens that will thrive no matter what the market conditions are. especially when they start launching some of these projects. And those projects are pretty major as well. Major Web2 companies with major revenue, and it's going to be big, and there's going to be a lot of utility. We are not seeing a ton of utility nowadays with crypto. So when you see a utility token, you definitely want to be, paying attention to that. So those are really some of the plays that I'm looking at. Also, Twin Protocol. Twin has a little bit of a vesting. Is still where you have, they had a lot of different rounds. They had seed round, um, a lot of other rounds, a strategic round, private rounds, and so those tokens, I would say, probably still like about maybe under a little under 50% still remaining in the vesting, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. You can definitely review the tokenomics and see what, where it falls. But I think this one has a real potential as well. And I think it's gonna, in the long run, it's gonna do well, especially when the utility is fully live. And this is an area that I was identifying that potentially, this one around 600K will be where another next buying opportunity could be. So definitely do your own research on this one. Has a phenomenal team. They are really a legit company. It's not like your fly by night project. This is a real company. So is Angel, and so is Alpha Meta. Definitely. Ledger AI is another one. Ledger could also do well. They are actually doing some major partnerships with hospitals to kind of get their AI equipment out there, Aura Vision, which is going to be used in a lot of different hospitals. This could have potentially a little bit of more downside, but I think once this one bottoms out, it's going to be pretty phenomenal. So I'm keeping an eye on this one for sure, for some re-entries and some more buying opportunities. I think this is long term. This project is going to do well. This is another legit company, not a fly by night project. Phenomenal team as well. So definitely, those are the ones that I have on my radar, and as well as some of the ones that I am, looking forward to buying. So yeah. Anything else, Bits, that you want to add?
No, look, I'm still kind of just taking it easy this week. I think that we could have just some more choppiness that happens here as we go into the new year. And I read a post the other day that made a lot of sense, where someone was basically saying, smart money, big money, the heads of institutions, like these guys aren't sitting around trading right now. Like they're off, enjoying some time off. It's like the algos, it's the pajama traders, it's there are probably still some trading desks and stuff that are operating right now, like that are still doing stuff, but no one's really moving volume or moving size right now. So you're probably just going to see a lot of chop. And the only way I'd really play is I'd be focused on like the mean reversion plays, which is sweep lows, and I want to see a move back up either to the point of control somewhere inside of that range, or to the other extreme, like across the range, right? And then I just wait for that to happen and play it the other way. So, I think if you're day trading, just play the chop. Don't hold on to anything with too much conviction. Be willing to take your profits. But yeah, that's kind of how I'm looking at it. And there's going to be some altcoins that are going to make some moves, that are going to be running. Probably some of the memes could also make some moves. But yeah, I'm not expecting a whole lot. I mean, my main expectation is we're either making a substantial move to the downside or one of the upside close that year. I'm leaning towards a move higher, but we'll see in the next. I'd say probably in the next 24 hours, we'd have to see that start to kind of shape up if it's going to happen. But yeah, nothing that I'm really like super sure of right now. I think it's just chopping around. Maybe Zcash is like the only thing that I'm pretty solid in kind of what I'm expecting here. But even that, like I think that there's a good possibility of a rejection for Zcash, but it could just be a move down here, that just flips that to support and then continues higher. So we'll see what happens there, but I'm willing to play. I just kind of identified like where am I willing to buy, where am I willing to sell,
So, yeah,
absolutely. If that happens. Silver, a lot of people are talking about silver. This indicator that that we're using, it's so cool, but it like it even the fact that it's highlighting in the yellow, right? The yellow means like an extreme reversal. and it did highlight there. It also, told you, hey, there's a reversal happening for a potential top here, right? So it gave you the R and the T. So you got 3 points of confluence where you've got the big volume. So you had high volume up, followed by engulfing sell volume. You've got the indicator firing off, that there's potential reversal happening here. And then, if you just do a volume analysis down here, you can see that. I mean, look at that red candle on silver right there. I mean, it's and this is a daily chart. So you had a big volume engulfing sell. So silver's probably going to cool off a little bit. Whether crypto takes an opportunity to play catch up during this time, or if crypto just kind of hangs out and goes sideways, we'll have to see what happens there. I personally think there's a decent chance that we're going to see silver move back below $60. So somewhere below here. So somewhere in here, I think makes a lot of sense, even just for like a shallow pullback. This thing
Mm-hmm.
could go there and then still continue higher. But there are some levels, to the downside that this thing could still revisit. So yeah, the question will be what ends up happening. I was watching BTC. This is BTC against silver. This was there was no wick here yesterday. This thing was full to the bottom, and it just now started to kind of develop a little bit of a wick on the bottom of this. But if I'm treating this Bitcoin priced in silver chart just like I would anything else, the real areas where I'm interested in trading is going to be at extremes. So like maybe under here I start paying attention. Like under this structure, I start paying attention to see if something comes in here. But I think it'd make a lot of sense that this thing continues down, takes out this low here, and then you get that opportunity at a reversal if it's going to get a reversal against silver. So yeah, a lot of people looking at this in the Bitcoin gold chart, and certainly it can make a pullback, but there's no denying that crypto and Bitcoin in this case specifically against precious metals, it's underperforming. I mean, this is back below 2017 highs. So if that tells you anything, we're we've backtracked quite a bit of gains here in the cryptocurrency space against silver. So, but yeah, that I don't know that I'm gonna be trying to get any kind of short positioning on silver here. I'm more interested in trying to see if I get some buying opportunities for the rest of that move up. Because if we are going into this a year of of downtrending action for crypto, I do suspect that gold and silver probably are going to continue going a little bit higher, along with the rest of commodities. I think commodities should trend probably a little bit higher. So if that's the case, I'd look to reposition into silver on a pullback. Played the silver miners very nicely. Made some fantastic profits this year with silver miners. So would not mind repositioning into some of those a little bit lower.
Yeah, Kelvin Ryan was actually, I remember a few years ago, and Kelvin Ryan is my mentor, the guy who actually taught me technical analysis like over a decade ago. But this guy, he was buying silver when it was at $13 and $14, and he said when it's gonna fly, it's gonna fly.
Mhm.
And man, he was right. When I was looking at the chart, I'm like, Kelvin is very happy because I know he's been positioning himself long
Yeah.
for a while. He does find short opportunities as well, but he was mostly bullish on it long term,
Yeah.
and it was pretty phenomenal to see that move.
Yeah, it's been long overdue. I think there's a lot of people that have been waiting for this move to happen. But typically if you go back and you look at like the long-term charts for precious metals, they it kind of similar to what people say about Bitcoin, where it's like it gets most of its gain in a small window of time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you see the same thing with these metals. They go into these consolidation phases for a long time, and then they pop and you get big violent moves, and that's exactly what we've seen here. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we'll see what ends up happening. I think a lot of the clues are going to come back to this. This is what I would be looking for more of a confirmation of like a longer term potential reversal in terms of like
Mm-hmm.
strength coming back into BTC over silver. I actually hadn't done this. Let's do this real quick. If I were to do something like this, let's just put it here. And I grabbed it there. Yeah, I mean, you're already, you're at, you're below that extreme already for this range here. mean, there's even an argument to be made that this was the channel and that was just a deviation below it because you had these two touches here.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I think the risk here is like if this thing comes up, it could still do that. Then it takes the lows. And then once it
Mhm.
takes the lows, then we can look for whatever that new channel needs to be. That one would then be invalidated at that point, right?
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I think there's some alpha in looking at Bitcoin against silver, looking at Bitcoin against gold to find when those key pivots are going to happen in terms of like when we can position um, a little bit more comfortably for longer term upside. Because if you look at Bitcoin against gold, this is Bitcoin against gold, right? Um,
Mhm.
this could pump. This could catch a little bit of a pump from here. There's an argument to be made here that you've got some kind of a channel here as well, right? And it's like, okay,
Mhm.
like could it come up to the underside of that here and then reject for? Yeah, absolutely. You can make that argument all day long. Um,
Mhm.
there's other different ways you can analyze this, but yeah, could it have a move, back up to that structure and then potentially even slightly above it, but then continue in a general downtrend here to come down into this zone, which is kind of where my area of interest would be. Um,
Mhm.
so you could get some pumps in between there. And I think that'll tell you, like, if you're looking at these will kind of tell you when some of that strength is going to come back into these markets, as opposed to this just continuing to just slowly melt over
Mhm.
time. So,
No, absolutely. I see a question from AMP. What are your thoughts on Exxon Dow long term? It's a DeSci play, right? So, I know there was like a hype for DeSci for a little bit, decentralized science projects,
yeah,
and I remember it was actually one of them. Some of these DeSci plays, they could have their own,
right.
little bull run at some point where just they do
Yeah.
right well regardless of the market conditions. But I'd be cautious, kind of, going into the next bear year, right? 2026 is
Yeah,
going to be
timing
a bear
is
year.
the what makes it tough. Like you could have good
Yeah.
good projects. It's funny you mentioned Axon Dow because I was hosting spaces with them for about 6 months to a year with them
Uh
and a
huh.
couple other builders in the DeSci space. This was probably like 3 years ago.
Uh huh.
Um, and so I met a lot of the guys in the DeSci space back then. Everyone was just so early. It was way too early. This is like three
Mhm.
years ago, I think. And
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, they've got a great project. There's a bunch of great projects that are doing a bunch of stuff in the DeSci space, but it's just I think it's timing. I think it's the market wasn't quite ready. I think it's
Mhm.
also the fact that memes were just so strong this cycle that no one cared about utility. Unfortunately, there were a lot of great utility
Mhm.
projects too, like in DeFi, that weren't science based, but they were just finance or protocols or whatever. Same thing. You just didn't see the love, right? So
Mhm.
these guys have an actual product on the market, says Amp. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna matter. I don't think it's gonna matter. I think timing, unfortunately, is not on their side right now. Um, but yeah, it's early. It's early. I think like if you're, it's just about setting your expectations. Like some of this stuff is going to be very bullish. Um, but instead of thinking about like what can it do this year, you need to think what does it look like over the next 5 to 10 years, right?
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing too. Like, which ones of these are like real companies? And I
Yep.
know, just kind of looking at what I'm doing right now with some of my clients, the marketing in the bear market has changed significantly.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
like I'm about to kick off a marketing campaign for a major AI project. And by the way, there's going to be some giveaways that are going to be fun. So watch out for those that they're coming up early next year. So this is going to be kicking off in January for sure. And there's going to be some giveaways that I'm excited about. But basically, the marketing landscape has changed significantly now that you're talking about onboarding real users because what are you going to do? Are you going to go to the crypto community and market your token to them and say, hey, buy this token? Or are you going to be focusing on actually bringing in real users who
Real
really
customer
are
acquisition.
interested Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Customer and client acquisition. That's
Yeah.
that's how it's gonna be, right? Because that's the only way you could survive the bear market. And so definitely watch out for that. And the marketing that I'm doing for this particular AI project, it's one of the top AI projects, by the way. It's gonna be very different from your typical crypto marketing that takes place. There's just a lot of thought that's going into it, a lot of processes that are going into it, and so I think the marketing landscape is going to change significantly.
Mm.
And those projects that are already pivoting right now are gonna not just survive but thrive during the bear market. So it's going to be very interesting to see how things play out over the next few months in the crypto sector, for sure.
Yeah, and I think if we are going into a period where people are just not interested in general, that affects a lot how the charts are going to look, but also how these projects are going to operate. They just won't have um, anywhere near the interest or the revenue that they need, right, to really put the pedal to the metal, as they say, right. Some of them will. Some of them, if
Hmm.
maybe they raised enough, they'll be able to stand out. But yeah, I've seen way too many of these things just run out of runway and end up in a position where it's like they basically just gotta sit out, wait for more funding, or just completely quit.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, funding too. I think this is another thing that I want to bring up that's important. People have learned their lessons this bull market, and I think
Yeah.
this bull market, or this upcoming bear market I should say, is going to really weed out the bad actors. uh, Only the good ones are going to survive and thrive during these market conditions. So that's important. But what was happening is that you had these projects launching at really high valuation. You're talking hundreds of millions of dollars,
Hmm.
or billions. And it's like, all right, well, where's the next Solana? How do we find that?
Yeah.
It launched pretty at a pretty small market cap. So was BNB.
Yeah.
And so, absolutely, you need those kind of plays where there is some upside potential. And that's another thing too. Well, I'll bring up Alpha Meta, because what these guys are doing, they do believe that you could bring back the good old days of ICOs, where you're launching at a small enough market cap for a nice, upside potential. Because if you're already launching at 150 mil market cap, well, where is the upside potential? You're only getting 10% of your tokens at launch, and there's just not much upside to that. So that's what really, I think, it's been frustrating for a lot of people. Thankfully, me going into this bull market, I had already learned some of those lessons back in 2021. um, and so I didn't go heavy on VC deals. I was very cautious, very careful, and it was pretty good because I did find some really awesome opportunities that way. One thing when I completely screwed up was Launchpads, because Launchpads did phenomenal in 2021, and I was anticipating they're going to do well during this cycle as well. And unfortunately, they did not do really well. So that was one of my pains for this bull market. But other than that, everything was great. I see Ash has joined us as well. Ash, good morning to you. And yeah, that was a nice liquidity sweep on week open. That was pretty interesting. Ash is the person whose indicators we are using, and I'm going to leave a link down there in the comment section as well after the post, or after the live stream has ended. So I see a lot of good people join in. Jason, Cards fan, Cardi. Um, Good to see you all here. And please, please, please make sure that you're liking, retweeting, and leaving a comment, not just on the stream, but also on the post on X. We want to get a lot of people up here, as many as we can. Twitter does a phenomenal job already, marketing or showcasing the live streams, so that's good. But we need more visibility, so please do that. Thank you. Anything else, Bits? Any meme place that you're looking at?
No, not today. We'll see if anything comes up over the next couple days. Still kind of just have my core ones, right? Like Chart Guy, still continuing to support Chart Guy because I'm a chart guy. It just makes sense. Like I just like the whole mission behind that and the community and uh, the people that are getting attracted to that. So continue to support Chart Guy. And then I'm still holding Stimmy. This one I think we hadn't talked about it in a while, but they actually had their first jackpot go live last week, I believe, or a few days ago. So some lucky community holder who's actually in the DM group with us, but one of the community holders won 100 Solana for just holding some stimmy. So that was pretty cool. But there's no like trades that I'm eyeing per se on those. Those are just kind of two of the only memes really that I'm holding for longer term, just because I'm supporting either good people that I know, like, and trust, or a good like a good theme or mission or just general idea. So, but that's pretty much it. And I'm watching the flying horse meme for a pullback. We'll see if we get that. But yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot else. Other than just kind of watching the majors. Watching the majors. Want to see if we get that sweep of previous week liquidity here on BTC and some of these others. And if it does, then heck, we may have ourselves a little long we can take either tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to share my screen real quick
Go
for
for
a
it. Yeah.
Solana setup. Oh, that's actually something I did share previously. Give me 1 second here. And this setup I drew a while ago, actually, on one of the live streams, if I'm not mistaken. But basically, I drew it when the price was here, and everybody was thinking this is it. We've kind of found the bottom here. We're going to go up. Bits and I were talking about it, that we're probably going to sweep the lows of this. And this is what I was drawing, is that we're going to probably go something like this, and then eventually retest this one, right? And so I'm still watching this
Yeah,
one.
it's still on the table.
Yeah, it's still on the table, right? Still on the table, still in the range.
Yep.
One thing that I'm watching is the lower band on daily, to see if the price would come back here, retest, and find support here, right? So 120, maybe 120, 121. So definitely watching this area. I would not expect this to go below. If it does, then of course I'm not too interested in it. We'll have to wait again to get into the game after we see some bullish price action. But this is pretty much, going to be the area that I'm watching for a bounce here. So excited for this play. I hope that we do get a bounce on Solana. There are a lot of really awesome memes and other plays on Solana that could do well. When Solana does get a bounce like this, it could even go as high as this one, really. 164.
That's my upper range. Yeah, 160.
Yeah. Yeah, because it is a 200 EMA. And I want to bring up again, on BTC, very important is these two areas here, right? So this one here, of course, we are watching the yearly open, but then also 200 EMA, because we have a death cross. The first death cross has not been retested, and usually what happens, I pointed it out during the last time that we also were talking, and this is another thing too, by the way, that I want to go over real quick. I did draw it. When we talk about historical data and top to top, the last two tops that we had, that I actually drew up there, and you can draw previous ones as well, but basically from December 17th to December of 2017 to November of 2021, right? Those are the two tops. You had 1,424 days, right? So roughly you could say 1,400 days. Same here, where you had about, from the previous top to the current top, you had 1,426 days. So top to top, right, around 1,400 is a rough range that you should be looking at. And so when we say Bitcoin historical data, the 4-year cycle, blah, 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 this is what we're talking about. It pretty much gives you the dates. If you really drill down a little bit, it tells you when the top is going to be in place, which is why I was saying first week of October is when the top is going to be in place. And I was right about it before it happened, right? I was talking about it back in 2021, when the next one is going to be, when the next, once the 2021 top was in place, I was already talking about when the next top is going to be, right? And so these are important things to kind of look into, right? With the 1,400 days from the bottom to the next bottom, that's pretty similar as well. So just something that I wanted to throw it out there. But Bitcoin, if you look at the very first death cross of the season, the first time it happens, right after the top is in place, which was here on Bitcoin previously, January of 2022, price came back up around March, and they'd retest not just the 50 EMA, but also 200 EMA. And so something like this is again going to be, in place. We will potentially see some upside here, retest of 50 EMA on daily, retest of 200 EMA on daily, maybe even a little bit above that, which is going to be perfectly fine. It doesn't mean the cycles are broken or we are so back, none of that. Yeah, we're just drawing lines. And these lines work, right? These lines actually work. They work out beautifully. But it doesn't mean really that overall I'm going to be bullish for the next year. I'm not. I'm permable on Bitcoin. I do believe we're going to see $1 million Bitcoin and more in our lifetime very soon, but it's not going to be next year. It's not going to be the year after. Next year is going to be bearish. And so that's just what the data tells me. But it is going to be, the price is going to go up. And I was joking about it, and I said, you know what, the humble pie is going to take a few weeks to bake, and then it's going to be served. And it's not going to be pretty once the crash starts again. But again, price is going to move up into these areas. Just watch. It
Yeah.
has to retest
Yeah.
this. It has to retest 200 EMA. It's going to happen. So
100%.
I see more questions. From Ash says, best coffee watching live stream on X. Thank you. Shizzle, thank you for reposting. Amp says, what are your thoughts on snow whale or white whale? Sorry, not to buy, but how it's being managed. Similar model to Stimmy. White whale, I actually caught it. I saw the alpha on it super early. I didn't get in just because of the market conditions. I'm being cautious. But I haven't really. Is there a giveaway tied to it similar to Stimmy? Because that's not something I've seen. It came to my table early on, but I didn't really do much research on it. Bits, do you know anything about it?
The
I
only
knew it
thing
had
I
to do with.
know is that I think they're taking the creator fees and putting it back into the chart for as buybacks, right?
Okay.
So that's what I believe is what is maybe the question there. So yeah, I just think that I think there's going to be a lot of them that are going to do something similar like that, where they're going to find a way to put those creator rewards, and fees that the token can receive from LP or from whatever back into the chart. So yeah, I think stuff like that, it's not like a novel thing. This was around actually like in the BSC days. This was around back in Ethereum. There was all kinds of crazy stuff that was happening, the rebalancing tokens and all. Like there's a lot of stuff that if this is your first cycle, you might look new to you and you maybe just haven't seen it, but it's been played out on different ecosystems over the years. But okay, Amp says they have a 100K giveaway on 114. Yeah, look, I think if every token is a ticket, I think there's value in holding some of these just in case you get lucky. You buy a couple bucks worth or whatever, and you hope you get lucky. But I would say that if you're looking at those, right, like I'm looking at White Whale, you've got almost 60 million in market cap. You're at 58 million, right? And the tokenomics is what's going to matter here. So if I'm looking at White Whale and I'm looking at the holders, and there's 10,000 holders, right? As opposed to a project that has less holders, I've got better odds playing the smaller project. That's actually one of the things that I liked about Stimmy is if you go to the Stimmy website, stimmy.gg, there is there's a calculator there that you can use to calculate your odds based on how many tokens you're holding. So I don't know if White Whale does something similar. They might. I haven't been to the website if they have a website. But yeah, I think in stuff like that, like the tokenomics comes into play. How many holders are there now? What's the total token supply? And what percent of total supply do I own? Because then your odds, right? Like your probabilities might not be as good as something that maybe is a little bit smaller, where you could scoop up quite a bit more of the supply and have a much better chance at that. So yeah, look, I think there's going to be a bunch of these. I think it's cool. I think it's a positive thing. Amp says it's time weighted. Yeah, see, I got to get up to speed. I don't really know a whole lot about it. I've heard about a couple other ones that are doing something similar. So Yeah, I think it's
Mm-hmm.
cool. I think it's fun. I think it's different ways to kind of play in the space. You got to just know what it is, right? You're coming in there, you got to know that it's more of a lotto casino mindset versus utility or something like that. And at the end of the day, everything's based on volume. Like you want these things to
Mm-hmm.
have a nice consistent stream of new buyers and holders coming in because that's what's putting the fees into those funds into those wallets that are going to go out and then do everything. So and then
Yeah.
just find good narratives. Like like for me, the chart guy narrative is fun because we're all chart guys. Like we're all sitting here drawing lines, looking at charts. Like everyone's a chart guy. If you're on CT, you're a chart guy.
Mm-hmm.
If you use TradingView, you're a chart guy. If you're using Dex tools, you're a chart guy. Like that just makes a lot of sense to me, right? It's easy to understand. There's not a whole lot of explaining. And Stimmy is similar as well, right? Where it's like, man, if we're going to go into a period where there's going to be some Stimmy checks that are going to go out to people, they're going to start launching Stimmy tokens. People are going to look,
Mm-hmm.
well, what are some of the older ones that have been around, and what are the differences? And ooh, this one here has a lotto component, and it pays out a jackpot, and someone's already won 100 Solana by just holding some Stimmies. Like that's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
I kind of look for stuff like that, even if they're a smaller project, a little bit of a slower grind, but I'm okay with that. Like I like to find projects with good people because you can rely on good people.
That's
Like there's stuff you
that's
can't
the
really
key.
count on, but it's like find good people that are building some cool stuff.
That's the key bits. This is what I always say, that a lot of times when I'm buying something, I'm
Mm.
actually investing in the team.
Yeah, that's 100%.
And that's
Yeah,
definitely, if the people are good, if people are solid, then
yeah,
that their project is going to do well. Like that's why
yeah,
I'm so bullish on Angel AI, or
yeah,
some of these other AI projects, that because I know their teams are building
yeah,
phenomenal products. Trend Rift is here as well. Hey, good,
yeah.
have a good day,
I don't
Trend
know.
Rift, to you.
Yeah,
We are super bullish on Chart Guy for sure. I think it has a nice little culture to it that I think
yeah.
a lot of us chart guys and chart girls absolutely love that. So,
Yeah, and I even say the same message like when it comes to affiliate links and stuff. And I'm pretty loud about it because I believe that there's like some negative connotations where people on CT try and make it look like it's a negative thing when people are promoting, an affiliate opportunity or they're doing something. And it's like, well, you're going to buy some of these products or use some of these services anyways. Why would you not want to support the people that you're watching their streams, that you're expecting to jump on and do sessions for you, and like support those people? So if you're going to buy an indicator, like I want to know who's an affiliate for that indicator, and can I support them when I buy, because it doesn't cost you anything more to buy, right? You pay the same
mhm,
price. There's a way to support your favorite creator, your favorite person that's giving value, right?
mhm,
When you renew your trading view subscription, it's like, I don't know, do you have a favorite chart guy or chart girl that you like to watch their content, that maybe if you use their affiliate code, doesn't cost you any, not even a cent more to do it, but they get a little bit of support from you using their code.
mhm,
And it goes for everything, right? So these are opportunities to support, like you were saying, like people that you like and trust, and that you choose, you're able to choose who you support instead of just supporting a company and a bunch of strangers, and you don't really know like where that's going to. So those are all
mhm.
opportunities. Yeah. Yeah. Be good to the people that are good to you, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Give back to the
Yeah.
community, give back to the people who
Yeah.
are adding value to you. That's definitely
Yeah.
important. All right.
Yeah.
Looks like we are Bitcoin daily. My goodness, look at that. I wonder if we're gonna catch a bounce here, bits on M15.
And I want it to go down. I want it to go down and give me my fills, but who knows? Doesn't have
Does
to.
not have to. I mean, it's at the prime time right
Yeah.
now. So I'm wondering if we're gonna get a nice little green bounce here and we fly, maybe bottom out here. It's gonna be very interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah. I'll be ready for a move down here, anywhere in this below. Um, I'll start getting interested like below 86.5,
Hmm.
86.6. We'll see. But yeah, preferably I want it to come take it out. Maybe make a move down to low 86, if not even 86 flat. I definitely would take that.
Oh, by the way, during FOMO Friday, when was it? I was like the week before. because we did not have a FOMO Friday last week. But remember, Bits and I actually had a bet about Bitcoin going higher and lower. It actually did go higher before it went lower, but I ended up buying the chart guy anyway, even though it was supposed to be. Bet was supposed to be, if I win, Bits is gonna send me chart guy tokens, and I just went and bought the chart guy token anyway, because I thought it was gonna go. Chart guy is
Yeah.
gonna go up anyway, so
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm buying. If it's crashing, I'm buying.
Awesome.
But that was fun. So, but we did get that breakout a little bit. So let's
Yeah.
see if we could catch something here too. I don't know. Hourly, I'm still not happy with that, even though it's kind of looking like it's finding a bottom at the lower band, which is neat. Maybe if we can have a nice little breakout over 87.5, that could be something to play.
Yeah.
Nice solid close above that 87.5, right?
87.5. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we'll see. It'd have to get some momentum. It's had a couple fake out moves above that, but yeah, maybe if it gets a little bit of speed on it, I'd be watching that volume confirmation. So maybe that's the case.
Yeah.
It's got a big imbalance to the upside and come up and fill. But yeah, I think I'm gonna mainly be looking to size up in anything worthwhile on a move lower. So for me, send it down here, and then we go up.
Yeah, well, that would definitely be a great play if it does come down and give us an entry there. Full momentum.
I'm manifesting it right now.
Manifesting. Believe and it will happen, right? That's how
right.
It works.
Just like the Maxis tell us.
Yes, absolutely. You cannot be negative, guys. It's just because of you. Like in one of the groups, when I mentioned, I remember I'm in so many like different groups, right? And when the time comes to when we are sitting at the top, when I know that okay, this is it. So October 5th and 6th, I was not good those 2 days. I was just going into every group that I'm in and just kind of posting random stuff. Places where I haven't been active in like, a year. I'm just going there and saying, hey, by the way, guys, we are topping out here. Just, be careful. And it's like, Ra, you haven't even been active in so long. You just came here to tell us that. But one group in particular was like, you can't say anything negative. And I'm active in that particular group, a little bit active. But it's like, you can't say that. You're saying negative things and that's not going to help anybody. And then somebody else says, tell Rod to stop. She's just being so negative. It's like, guys, I'm not being negative. Just sharing some historical data. Be cautious here. My negativity or positivity does not move the markets. Unfortunately, I wish it did, because then I'd be super happy. But it doesn't work like that. So, but yeah, we can't be negative bits. We have to.
That's the mindset though on CT though, is if we all just hold hands and kumbaya together, like we can send it.
So we can send it. Yeah, we are going to send it. It's just not going to happen next year.
Yeah.
You know what would be really funny is somehow if we did have, let's say, a red year this year, and next year we get completely crushed down to like, going into 40s, but then somehow we recovered like the last 2 months and actually close green. That would be just like crazy. I don't think it's going to happen, but man, imagine that happening.
Yeah.
Like, imagine.
It'll be fun.
It would definitely be fun. So, yeah. Anything else, Bits, before we end the stream?
No. Look, I think again, it's like a holiday week. I think you just keep it nice and light. Don't get too stuck on any kind of bias, and just if you get a setup, take your profits. A lot can happen. We saw like big green pump, and now it just gave it all back. So if you took profits, hey, it worked out for you. If not, you wasted your time sitting there waiting to get a position and do all that just to not take any of it. Put it in your pocket.
Yeah. I know some people in the community, I think they took the long trade yesterday, and they also shorted at about 90K. So nice. I was not ready to short at 90K. I was no.
I just haven't been dialed in enough. I'm starting to ease into it today, but even then, it's like we're going into a couple other light days anyways, where I'll be away from the screens again. So it's like, man, I'm just taking it easy this week. General higher time frame outlook, and then just if something's obvious, I'm going to take it. But I don't think I'm going to be like stalking the charts, as we say in like the wolf spaces, right? Trying to pick the absolute interest. Like, taking it light. Next year we'll hit it hard again, and I'll dive back into losing sleep and doing all the fun stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Ash says he's going to ask Bad Price if he missed the move. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like BTC is getting ready to send here bits. If it does close above
Let
that
it go without
87.5.
me. Let it
Yeah,
go
it's going to go
without me.
without
I'll
me as
wait
well.
for it. I want my entry. I'm stubborn today.
Yeah, I'm too. I'm not interested in this either. It's probably gonna go though. Like I see it. I see it happening. I'm just not gonna buy it because it's still kind of holiday weekend or
Yeah.
holiday week really. New Year's week. I'm okay with kind of being mostly flat. So unless it's like a very good setup, so it's gonna be mostly choppy maybe. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, we need to get above that 93.3 just because it makes it so much
Correct.
easier to explain the data.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. That's the only line level that matters for me. The rest of this week is that 93.5.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so
Awesome.
much for your time, Bits. This was a fun little
No, this was
stream
good.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's
it
first.
was
This is the
absolutely phenomenal.
first any kind of stream I do in probably a week now, I guess. Yeah, I think it
Yeah,
is
it's
a
been
week,
a
huh?
week.
Yeah. I've done a couple
Yeah,
spaces, but haven't really been sitting down in front of the chart like this in a while. So yeah, it's good.
yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining. As I did say that there's going to be some giveaways coming up very soon here with one of the AI projects that I'm going to be doing some marketing for. So watch out for that. Definitely send me a DM if you want to be part of Alpha Seedlings, which is our Telegram community. You will see a lot of setups that we post here, myself and Bits. And also, of course, the community is also sharing a lot of alpha plays, whether it's memes or, other small market cap plays. So send me a DM and I'll make sure that you're added. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Make sure that you still like and retweet, leave a comment on the post on my X. Let's distribute it. This live stream was recorded. Thanks everybody for joining. Have a wonderful rest of the day and we'll see you again soon.
Bye, guys.